What is happening, people? Hopefully we're doing all right. Yesterday, caught this trade here, so 1 to 3 and then 1 to 6. I was wanting to target this external low, but start of New York yesterday, my New York time window, just secured the 1 to 6, just because one, tweets and stuff going on at the moment. I don't know which way it's going to go, so I put my stop at 1 to 6. And then it took me out. And then 2, I don't want to hold overnight trades at the moment with what's going on, especially in such a 50-50 range. Like I explained yesterday, we have come into a 4-hour point and kind of pushed away. So reasons for this trade, just for you guys that are a bit curious, was simply we had an internal break with this being retest. We then medium induced into the mitigation of my external 15-minute range. So this gave, being a retest, it pushed up, minor induced into the mitigation of that. So now I've got smart money trap, and then I just traded through that. For the entry, it was a multiple entry on the 1 minute time frame. That's why I was so happy to take it. We obviously had one break and then the second break, but on the second break it gave me a smart money trap entry. So I had 2 entry models playing out, which was really, really clean. It also actually induced into the mitigation of that, creating like an internal structure cycle into this point, which further just confirms this is a smart money trap. I did get in a little bit late. I did actually want to get in up here, but I wasn't quick enough, and that probably would have hit 1 to 9. That hit 1 to 9, so that would have been the better entry. So I just waited for the break and then entered, and it's let me a little bit down. But that was the entry there, pretty straightforward and clean. This point, that was my break even. This point shouldn't hold, being smart money trap. So seeing this as a break of structure, especially considering it's now given that decisional, push down 1 to 3 in the middle of that point, and then obviously follow through here. So then what happened for the rest of that session was this obviously being the internal break. This was just a supply to demand that holds no weight. Inducement high that now should leave this to a smart money trap. We've now come into the extreme of this point, so we're either going to push up or push down. I would say more or less push down, but we'll obviously see how that goes. We've created a structure cycle into this point, so we've got break here with a structure cycle that's now taken this point. I'd be expecting us to take this low. So coming into today, what I'm kind of expecting on GU, now we've created this new structure internally. We've now come in and we've taken more or less this decisional. We obviously had pull up, take of liquidity and push. I would be expecting this to now take the low. So what we've got is this as a smart money trap. I'm just looking for this to kind of push up and induce, and then push up and induce, and then sell through that liquidity, coming to take this low. So that's what I want to see, continuing with that selling momentum. So that's GU for today. EU for today is now at a lower low. We're just continuing lower into this point. This entire point to me is a smart money trap on the 4-hour. It is break and test. This is playing out to a T. I mean, look at that 4-hour movement. It's perfect. This is exactly what I wanted to see. There was no entries yesterday for EU, even though it did play out to a T like we wanted. If we jump down to the 15-minute, and this is just where your rules comes in, we're in this break and test point I don't want to trade out of. So for me, I need to either take that to trade, or I need to buy through this as a break and retest point. Okay, they're kind of the 2 options. That's smart money trap, that's smart money trap. There was just no entry. If we go down and we read that lower time frame in here, we've obviously got internal break, which creates nothing. But on this break here, we actually mitigated extreme, created a decisional in an extreme. So something like this is quite valid. I just don't have it mitigating the point. So if this had mitigated this point and then done this entry here would have actually been valid to sell down to there. But like I said, hadn't mitigated the point, so I'm not going to take anything there. So no entries for me. Now we've broken through that here. Really, really good structural read for the session. We've now moved away from this point. We've taken, so we've got break with the retest and push away. Off of the mitigation of that, still nothing. So that is still my 15-minute external. I'm looking for this to be a smart money trap. So I actually see us still coming and taking this point, pushing ourselves up. But until then, we've kind of got nothing. If I read internally what we've got, we've obviously got internal break here. We've then got a structure cycle that's formed with a retest. What I'd be wanting for today is to come and take this high here. We've got an internal break, which now come down, so nothing we can do on EU for today. So EU is off limits. No structure, no entry models at all. AU also had this entry. They're just, you would have caught a break even, just being, obviously with that, I was forward testing that like I do, but for me, nothing to work with. We've come into this point, which is a medium inducement point. We've then internally broken, retest and pushed. We've taken that here. no reaction. We've now come into the extreme, but there's just nothing to work out of. Internal break off that retest. We've then come in, mitigated that decisional and pushed off. We did not create a decisional off of this, unfortunately. Came and took this. It's just trash. So I don't even see anything on AU. That's such a deep read. I would say we're going to sell, but I just don't know where from. So if I try and read this a little bit more in depth, we've got this as our range here, which didn't even create a structure cycle, so it's not actually that magnificent either. But we've taken the retest. So we've got break, retest and push. We've then internally broken, retested, and then pushed up. We've taken that retest or internally broken, no structure cycle, nothing to work with. So that's retest that we've pushed away from. So I would expect this to be a trap here. This makes sense to actually buy through this and come higher, at least to take that. So if this is a trap, I would be expecting that move. So the only thing I actually see for AU coming today, I don't want to actually buy through this. I don't really see it as valid off of the mitigation of the area. We didn't, because it broke first and then retested here. I would need this. So all I see today on AU is that, and that's treating that low as a smart money trap. In terms of buying up to it, just nothing really interested in it. So that's what I kind of see today. Any questions, let me know. And let's finish off this week as strong as we can.